There is a reason why certain communities build generational wealth. The secret is not inheritance or intelligence or knowledge, it's principles. So today I'll be showing you 9 principles that builds communities that the Jewish people, the Jewish culture used to use to build generational wealth. And if you stay till the end, the last one might actually change the way you think about money. Before I start, let me get this thing across. I'm not talking about religion. I'm just talking about principles that have been documented, that have been experimented and passed down for centuries. Education is not necessarily studying a book or studying a course, but it is about studying clues. And today we are going to explore and experiment these clues. According to Jewish cultures, money is a tool, it's not a goal. What most of us don't understand is that we think, okay, becoming rich is my goal, becoming rich is my ambition, becoming rich is my vision. But unfortunately, that is not a vision. Okay, money is not a goal, but it is a tool. So how do you use a tool? Let's say, for example, your door is broken. You will use a spanner, or you'll use a screwdriver, or you'll use something that's useful to get your task done. So money is basically something that is useful to get your task done. Let's say you need to become a landlord. You need money to buy the land. Let's say you want to own a Ferrari. You need money to buy the Ferrari. So you need to understand that what your goal is. You need to understand what your vision is, what your purpose is, and then use the money as a tool to support you through that. The second thing that you need to understand is that education is investment. I know a lot of people say that education is useless. The way you get your PhDs, your bachelors or whatever, your degrees is useless. But we need to understand that we will not know how to count 1 plus 1 is 2 if we did not have a system of education. Okay, so as much as people complain about the system, there are both goods and bads about the system that you should learn how to discern. And when I say education, it's not only just a degree, but it could be financial education, it could be mindset training, it could be purpose coaching. Okay, whatever it is, whatever you learn is education. The other principle is cash flow over flashing your wealth. I know a lot of people like to wear brands, drive brands, use brands. But one thing that we need to understand is that the super rich people are no longer into these kind of flashy brands. They are more into silent brands, which you don't even have a logo in whatever they wear, right? So you need to understand that what is important is not how much you flash, but your cash flow, sustainability, and security. Because at the end of the day, when the flash runs out, there'll be nobody to help you. So you need to understand that cash flow is more important. So build businesses, build structures, build systems that will bring in cash flow, because your status is very temporary. A second is enough for someone's perspective about you to change. So are you really depending your wealth on their perspective? Fourth principle is educate your kids. Talk about money with your kids. I know it's not easy, but growing up, sometimes our parents don't necessarily like to show us that they're in lack. But then when people come out into the world, they come out as vegetables that was fresh in the refrigerator. Okay, so you need to understand that your kids need to be exposed to the real world at a very young age. They need to understand how finances work, what exactly adds value, how their purposes can be supported with wealth. And when they understand this, they will be able to live successful lives. Fifth principle is your community is your asset. Lone wolves will destroy themselves, whereas people who are in community will scale themselves. Why? Because your community gives you purpose, your community gives you support, and your community will build you up. That's very important that you invest and consider your community as an asset. Sixth principle is understanding that business is honorable. I know there are a lot of people out there who manipulate the system, who manipulate people, and who try to make it big within a short span of time. But you need to understand that business is honorable. It is actually a service that you're doing to people who are in need and who need a problem to be solved. So you are a problem solver. It's honorable. It's very honorable to do business. So understanding this, keeping this in mind, and getting things done is also a very important principle to follow. Seventh principle is understanding good debt and bad debt. You need to honor good debt and you need to despise bad debt. How do you differentiate? Good debt is something that will scale you, bad debt is something that will drown you. So you need to be wise enough to understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. Eighth principle is understanding that the long thinking game is always victorious and not the quick thinking ones. I know that people say, hey, do something, get things done real quick. That's very good. But have you planned for the future? Are you planning for the future? Are you playing the long game, or are you trying to make a quick buck and then get the hell out of there? So a long-term plan is very important, and that's exactly how Jewish people succeed in their industry. They play a long game. So Jewish people, when they start their business, they do not sell a couple of products and run out of business. They always keep scaling their business. They keep investing more and more into the business. They bring new innovations, new initiatives. They keep moving forward. Play the long-term game, leave a lasting legacy. Ninth principle is the most important one. Your money should serve a higher purpose. What is a higher purpose? It could be charity, it could be your community, it could be a lasting legacy. There should always be a higher purpose. Jewish people are those who fear God, and whatever they do it around God. So you need to understand, if your money, if your wealth has a higher purpose, you will never run dry, because your purpose will keep you going and driving you forward. These principles aren't just Jewish, it is human truth. This is not just exclusively for Jewish people, but it is also for everybody to learn. It's freely available. So if you learned something from this video, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.